I feel like I'm a pretty physical player.
Pressure coming. Cal McManus, the ball's out. It's on the ground, and it's recovered by Michigan State. Number 5, Jordan Hall, he made that play. He's going to be an all-conference player.
He's got good size, he runs well, and he understands angles. He's impressive to watch.
I always felt like I had the capability of being on the field early and making plays. The guys that we have here, we've lost some guys in the last couple of weeks, but the guys who are here are bought in, and we're going to win with those guys.
Oh, welcome back, Jordan Hall. It's great to have you, man.
Glad to be back.
Your second appearance, your first solo appearance, very short notice. I was going through what I wanted to talk about. I'm like, I'm a little overdue for an actual Michigan State football non-coaching search show. I'm like, I got to go to one of my favorite guys. I appreciate you being here, man.
Of course.
So, look, there's a lot of places I want to go. I'm going to try to be efficient and kind of rip through here. So I think I want to get the stuff that's going to make you uncomfortable out of the way. You're the most humble, sort of unassuming player maybe I think I've had in here. You were cringing at my praise a little bit before the show. You didn't even want to talk about it. So I'm going to get it out of the way.
All right.
Your individual performance this year, I've probably been your harshest critic on Twitter, right, Ben? Show some of my work on Twitter so far on Jordan Hall. So I got Jordan Hall in 2024 winning the Buckus Award for Best Linebacker of the Year. I got you as Nakobe Dean next year. I was asking the world, how is Jordan Hall a true freshman, yet he's constantly involved in exclusively good things? Look, yes, I'm a big fan of yours, but that's what everybody's saying. Everyone is blown away by your polish and how well you've adapted and how quickly you've adapted, even with high expectations for you coming in, decorated recruit, respected kid, and multi-time captain at the IMG Academy. What do you make your year just individually? We'll get to the team later. Are you happy with where your individual game is right now?
Happy, yes. Not satisfied. We have more games to go. Each week, I feel like I've been doing my best to try to get better, and kind of just focusing on that. Kind of like you said, I don't try to pay attention too much online about what some people have to say, whether that's good or bad. Just try to come in each week and get better.
Yeah, it was funny, like for the audience who obviously wasn't sitting here, I was throwing some of like the praise that, Pro Football Focus has had on you, and you were just like, dude, talk about anything else. And that's why I think you're resonant as a leader for a lot of people. And for those that don't know, Pro Football Focus had Jordan recently as the 5th best freshman, irrespective of position in the entire country. Like the 5th best freshman in the country, all positions combined. So, I mean, the type of season that you're having individually and what kind of tape you're putting out there, again, even with the high expectations, exceeded it. I know you had high expectations going in, and we talked about it in the offseason before your first game. Was a little bit of you just, can I play at this level at all going in? Did you have some nerves? Were you surprised at how well you've played? Where's your sort of head at on that?
I wouldn't say I was really surprised. I'm confident in my abilities to go out there and compete with the best players in the country, and that was my mindset going into the season. It's still that mindset.
So as far as the team goes, obviously everyone knows what's going on. We don't have to give the blow by blow, and you guys had a tough break and a tough hand dealt to you, particularly the players and the support staff and the staff there. Just a little bit on Harlon Barnett, who's lifetime Spartan and is beloved in the program seemingly universally. What do you make of how he's handled this and the challenge being thrust upon him unexpectedly? What do you make of Harlon?
I think he's an amazing coach, and I don't think that I know anybody else who could have been thrown in that position and excel as well as he has. And I know that our record might not show that, but he's done the most important thing, which was keep us together. And, I was so happy for him last week when we were able to get him his first win. And just kind of like you said before we got on here, it was like a weight lifted off everyone's shoulder. We were expecting to get that win a little bit sooner. But the fact that we got it meant a lot to us and the program, and I think the fans also.
Was it when you're going through that transition, which was, I presume, as abrupt for you guys as it was for the fan base, where suddenly your coach is gone, like, was that disorienting in a way? You had to have felt like your head was spinning that week going into the Washington game. What was that like for you?
I wouldn't say head spinning is the right term, because, we didn't know anything about it, like after, because I think it was Richmond we played that Saturday before. We had saw news about it Saturday night, but we didn't know how true or false that was. And then Sunday we had a meeting, and we kind of just, sat down and we're like, we can't harp on whatever's going on too long. We got to get ready for our toughest opponent that we've played so far this year. So it was a brief meeting, just kind of trying to get everybody to just stay focused on the game that we had to play that week.
So when you were in studio with Tunmije, I think it was like middle of summer, a couple months before the year, you and I were both going back and forth, praising Mel Tucker, and I still have his painting on the wall. It's kind of more camp now than anything else. But is your perception in that moment when you're sitting in your apartment or dorm or whatever in East Lansing, and you hear the news and the stuff starts to trickle out? Did you feel betrayed at all that this guy who you had so much faith in, we had talked months earlier, had brought you here? You just got here. You're 2 games into your career. Did you feel betrayed by what happened there at all?
No, I mean, I chose to come here. Unfortunately, things didn't go the way I think anybody planned, but I don't think betrayed is the right word. I signed up to be a Spartan, and whether we are 3-6 or 9-0, that's what I signed up for. Unfortunately, things didn't go the way anybody planned, but I'm all here for it. We got more games to be played. That's all I'm really worried about.
Your team seems really together, and I know you mentioned that as a credit to Harlon Barnett. You guys seem like you're the most bonded, the least bickering group of guys that are going through a tough season. I mean, is that sort of accurate behind closed doors? That's how it comes off as TV. There's not a lot of finger pointing or yelling on the sidelines. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's how we are all the time, not just on TV. I think people come closer together when they experience things that are unusual, and I mean that's a testimony to what we're going through. We've had a lot of struggles early off in the season, but each week we're bonding more. We've had some people step out on us, but the people that are here, they want to win, and we're all a family looking to do that each week. So,
what was your first conversation with Harlon Barnett and the team? What was that first address like in the wake of that, post Richmond, before, right when the news drops? Tell me about the first sort of gathering and what that was like.
Kind of like I was saying before, he kind of just addressed the situation, let us know the role he was stepping into. We felt like he was the best person to be put in that position at the time, and it was, like I said, it was brief, and we were just focused on preparing the next week for Washington.
So you're going to solve the mystery here, because people don't understand what exactly is Mark D'Antonio's role. Obviously, beloved figure. I'm the biggest D'Antonio fan. Mm-hmm. Is he just there to kind of be a bounce, like sounding board for Harlon Barnett to bounce things off of, or like what is his role week to week? In his interactions with my position isn't much, but kind of like they were saying his role is before, is kind of like a consultant, not just for Coach Barnett, but the rest of the coaches. He comes to all of our travel games. He's kind of been that consultant for the team. Okay, so he has like addressed you guys at some point along the way. He's not just like sitting in an office. Like he has some kind of hands-on role. Yeah, he is. He's hands-on for sure. Yeah, he's a legend in his own right up there. And yeah, I couldn't pin down like what exactly he does. It does seem to be more like advisory role, and I think that's all he really wants to do. I think it's good to have him there though, just as a presence. Is that fair? Yeah, I would say that. He was here previously. I didn't meet him until he came in and stepped in the role that he's in now. But we've had many conversations, and his role has helped us throughout the weeks he's been here. So when you were here with Tunmije, you talked about your teammate JJ's talking about winning the Big Ten, and you're in the weight room, and that's the rallying cry. And you got off to your 2-0 start, and like you kind of took care of business early. Obviously, we know what happened with Tucker. We just hit on it. Is there a challenge there when you're going in, you have this goal to win the Big Ten, and not only are you not winning the Big Ten, but like you're going through a tough season as a team? How do you stay involved and stay engaged? Is that a challenge for you? No, not at all. And I think I speak for the whole team when I say that. We still have games to be played. We have the rest of our schedule is pretty tough that we have to go up against, and we're prepared each game to go in.
and excel no matter what our record is. We could have lost the first 2 games and be in this spot right now, and we'd still prepare and still have the same excitement going into Ohio State this week.
What's the big challenge with the Buckeyes on Saturday? I mean, obviously we know they're a phenomenal team. You're on the road. When you watch the film this week, what stands out to you? Why are they so good?
They're well coached. They have really good players that are disciplined. We've seen that a lot on film. They're just a really good team. They play well together, and they're very well disciplined.
I know you haven't been on the field against Ohio State yet. That's coming up in 2 days. But having watched the film and scouting them and preparing for them and having done the same for Michigan and played them, who's kind of the better team to you, do you think? Like, how do you handicap that matchup? I'm fascinated by that.
Michigan State is the better team, but both of those teams are really great teams.
Yeah.
When those two go up against each other, it'll be a good game to watch. But we're the better team.
Do you think so?
I feel
they might push back on that.
That's okay. They can feel that way. It's okay.
Yeah, that might be a tough one to get through the committee there. I don't know. I like the attitude, but the whole. I want to just touch on it briefly because you could do the deep dive on the Michigan thing. You found out, I'm sure, at the same time we all did, and you had them, coming up to you, the Big Ten offering to skip the game or whatever. What is your reaction? What do you make of the Big Ten, scandal with Michigan and the sign stealing? Were you mad? Didn't care? What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably stuff like that happens oftentimes than not. It's not really my place to kind of, put my input on what I thought before the game. Never played Michigan before, didn't have any connections deeply with them. So that was really my mindset before the game. Just wasn't even too worried about it. Just went in with the same mindset I had previous weeks before that.
We know the conference offered you guys the opportunity to skip the game, and that was communicated to Alan Haller, your athletic director. Was that ever brought up to you guys? Like, were you gathered in a room? Hey, players, do you want to play? Like, was that a conversation at any point?
No. We knew we wanted to play this game, especially with after last year. So that was never something that was brought to our attention. I didn't even know about it until after the game. So. It wasn't something we were worried about. Yeah.
So it was not thrown to you. It wasn't your call, basically.
It was not. Yeah.
Okay, because I think Howard even admitted. I mean, they gave him the option. So yeah, and the players are always going to choose to play. That's kind of a no-brainer.
Right.
What was it like on the field for that game? Was it chippy? I mean, what was it like for you in your first experience there?
Honestly, it wasn't anything more than what I thought it was going to be. I mean, they're a great team. Wasn't too chippy. It was a little chippy early, but that's just football, and you're gonna have players like that no matter who you go up against. So, but it was a great experience. I've never been a part of a game like that. Like actually being on the field and seeing Spartan Stadium field was a one-in-a-lifetime experience for me.
You liked the black uniforms, you said?
Yeah, they were cool. I prefer the all white, but the black ones are close second for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Stormtroopers are the way to go for sure. So I think your future is arguably the most interesting topic, maybe tied with the quarterback situation. And is it going to be Hauser, Levitt, one of them staying, both staying? So you're kind of tied. On the defensive side, you're the clear-cut number one object of fascination. My friend Matt Sheehan, who's fantastic show, Lockdown Spartans, is a must-watch. He's been a big fan of yours for a while. Any Spartan, I think, has to be. And he's opined on this and made an open plea to you recently. I want Ben to play that for us. I don't know if you caught this, but this is Matt Sheehan making his pitch to Jordan Hall.
Jordan Hall is just amazing. I mean, God, as far as praying that guy's stay goes, Jordan Hall has to be at the top of that list. I mean, that is a guy that you can build a foundation around on defense, and not just on the field play, but just leadership as well. I mean, this was a guy that was a multi-year captain at IMG Academy for a reason, and we are seeing it play out here in East Lansing. So Jordan Hall, if you're listening, I know you never miss an episode of Lockdown Spartans. Please come back. We're begging you.
Are you coming back? Are you staying here?
I mean, I'm here right now. I'm focused on these next few games, and that's what I'm worried about right now. I came here to be a Spartan, and that's what I am.
Yeah. So you can be contacted now, though, right? Like, were you getting a lot of calls when that window opened when your coach left?
I I couldn't tell you if I was. I was so focused on the games that we had played. I can say that I haven't talked to any coaches since I've been here. Just been focused on the opponents that we have that week.
What weighs into that decision? Because ultimately, you're going to have you'll be able to go wherever you want. I mean, if that comes up, what do you weigh there? Like, what do you need to see at Michigan State to say, I'm going to stay here, I committed here, I want to be here, and rebuff other offers? Like, what are you looking for?
Honestly, right now, I mean, we don't know how our coaching situation is going to pan out. I like how Coach Barnett coaches, but ultimately, just going to have to, see how things wound up in the offseason. But like I said, I signed up to be a Spartan, so it's going to take a lot to pull me away from here.
So basically, it depends on the coaching hire, which no one really knows where that's going yet, although I famously have some strong theories on that based on myriad evidence. Are you any aware of the Urban Meyer chatter and the giant flag that's over your shoulder there and on the desk here? Has that crossed your ether at all?
No. I mean, I see stuff, Barstool, MSU posts and stuff like that, but I haven't heard anything more than what I've seen on social media of jokes and stuff about, him coming here and offers and stuff like that.
It's not a joke now. Come on. It's a serious movement that you're talking about. Yeah. But let's just pretend that it's real. Let's say you don't believe it, or you don't know anything about it, but let's pretend. A guy like that, does that help you? A guy with that cachet, he's, the best or second best coach of all time by every metric. Does that help your decision to stay, the opportunity to play for somebody like that?
Well, my decision right now is to stay. Like I said, I'm finishing up the season. I've never had a conversation with Urban Meyer before in my life, but I do know that he's a really good coach. But like I say, I also think that Coach Barnett is a good coach, and I think under his circumstances of what he wants his team to look like, I feel like this season doesn't look the way that it does. But I have nothing, to say good or bad about Coach Urban Meyer. I've never talked to him before, but I do know that he's a really good coach.
Yeah, phenomenal. I'm rooting for it, so sort of without shame. And I think everybody wants Harlon to stick around. I mean, that's the thing. No one is like, get Harlon out of here. He's one of the 5 or 6 most beloved coaching figures across all the sports combined in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. Everybody loves. He's one of those guys. Like even coaches that people like even D'Antonio, who you're never going to hear me say a bad word, but some people thought he was a little, rough around the edges and a little gruff. No one says a bad word about Harlon Barnett. He's the most universally beloved figure up there, like him and Izzo.
So, yeah.
I think he has a place on that campus and on any coaching staff because he's good, hell of a coach, and he's so beloved up there. I think the coaching hire will be fascinating to see where they go and with the search here. And it's you're very compartmentalized and tunnel vision with everything. Like, you didn't even know how well you were playing according to PFF. And I think it's just fascinating that the fans are more enthralled with this stuff than you are.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way you have to go about it. If you try to harp on too much about how good you're playing or even how bad you're playing, you'll never be able to take the right steps to be where you really want to be at.
I felt like one of the sort of subplots with, the season obviously not going the way you wanted to was the abrupt SD4L pullout, the NIL fund, and it's more like a pause and a cessation of it. What was the story there? The report was that you guys landed in Iowa and they told you as you're walking off the tarmac. How did that go down?
Yeah, I mean, we got to the hotel. On the way there, Coach Barnett got a call. When we got back to the hotel, he called a team meeting and told the guys who were on it that they've decided to kind of pause that for the time being.
So was that something were you angry? Were you kind of like, oh, whatever, moving on to the game, or what?
Yeah, we had a game in 10 hours prior to that, so that's all that I was focused on. I said, okay, I'll worry about that after, but before the game, I was just focused on Iowa.
Did they explain to you hey, this is a pause and it's gonna pick back up, or how was it left?
Kind of that, they were just saying because of the uncertainty of everything, kind of just put a pause on it for the time being.
So back like just to the team and the less like salacious stuff, I'm just fascinated by the Michigan State experience that you're having. And, you're from Virginia. It gets cold there sometimes, but like just the whole East Lansing experience, like what have you made of that? Like living there, the campus, the people up there, what is it like for you?
No, it's been amazing. I've met a lot of great people. I've joined AIA, Athletes in Action. It's a Christian kind of worship group. It's every Tuesday. I've met so many amazing people through there. And just with my time, just being on campus longer, I've been able to just build relationships with people, and not even in ways that benefit me, but just me just getting to know people that I probably would have never met in another decision. So.
What's it been like for the coaches? We talked about Harlon Barnett. Like, for example, Scotty Hazelton, who, full disclosure, I'm friends with his wife and, know Scotty. But I told Brooke, Scotty's wife, that you were coming in tonight, and she's like, oh, he's my favorite. He's one of my favorites. He's just such a treasured member of the Michigan State family. But like, they've been put in sort of a tough situation too. Right. Obviously, I think my heart mostly goes out to the players, because you're not, getting paid 6 and 7 figures to do this stuff. But the coaches are in this weird spot too, where they were planning to be here and they've uprooted their families and have kids here. Have you seen that wear on them? What has it been like for them that you've observed?
No. Each week, from Richmond and Central Michigan to right now preparing for Ohio State, they've had the same energy each day from all of our coaching staff. They love football and they love us, and it shows week in and week out.
So yeah, Scotty Hazelton, I was told by a couple people up there, you wouldn't even be able to tell anything happened. Like he's very just kind of about his business.
Yeah, he is. He's the first one in, the last one to leave. He keeps us in the linebacker room for sure, and he's been like that since camp, really since spring ball camp and until now. He's always been level-headed in that way.
Well, do you think the criticism of him is fair? Because I've been defending him for a couple of years now. What do you make of him as a coordinator, as a coach? Do you think the fans' fire is warranted? Does he get a bad rap? What's your take?
I came here. He was a big reason on why I came here. I think he's one of the best coaches that I've ever been around. Just the way he's able to translate information to us and execute that. And I know that we've had a rough couple of games, but all of that stuff. I know he'll take the blame for it because it's a coach what he's supposed to do. But not everything falls on him. Some of the stuff is on us as players. But no, I think he's one of the best coaches I've ever been around.
I want to talk just a little bit more. I know we hit it earlier on Ohio State and the discussions there, and this will be your first time going into that venue, and it's quite famous. You're in a position where, you played Washington. That was a lot of mitigating circumstances, but the score was what it was. Obviously, the Michigan score was what it was. Is there a challenge there to build yourself up? It's like the last two teams that kind of were in that top 10 mold, we were out of the game at halftime. Like, how do you get up for that? Is it just an inherent competitor thing? Like, is that a tough thing to do when you've run into a couple, buzzsaws, frankly, with some great teams so far?
No, not at all. We wake up every Saturday, ready to play no matter who the opponent is. We played Washington and Michigan, both really good teams. Ohio State is also another really good team. We're gonna, finish the rest of the week off preparing for them and come in there with the same mindset that we have every week, which is to execute and come out with the win. So, what
was Penix like? What's it like trying to defend Michael Penix? He just is so unbelievable on film.
Yeah, no, he's a really good quarterback. He had a lot of passes that you didn't expect to be made. He airs the ball out really well, puts it in really good spots that are hard to defend. I got my hand on one of them, which ended up being a touchdown, which kind of hurt my soul. But he's a really good quarterback. Excited to see how the rest of his season will pan out.
What do you make of J.J. McCarthy?
Great. I mean, I have nothing. I know I'm supposed to say bad things about him.
No, you're not. He's a hell of a player. You're not supposed to say anything. Yeah.
No, but no, he's I don't have anything bad to say about him. We played together my sophomore year at IMG. That's kind of when our relationship started, and I did see the clip where me and him were the only two players to kind of come up to each other after the game, and that kind of just speaks to our relationship. But I have nothing bad to say about him. He's a great quarterback. I like the way he plays. I've always been a fan of his since we played together in high school.
So your last couple of games here, what are your goals? I mean, obviously you want to win every game. Is there something you guys are talking about as a team? What's the mentality going down the stretch here?
We still have goals that we're trying to achieve. A lot of people have kind of counted out us in terms of what we're capable of, but we know that we're capable of much more than maybe what some people would assume. I feel like we showed that last week. We had a close game, whereas previously we kind of had a hard time, finishing those close games. Like you were saying before, close game in Iowa, Rutgers, we gave up a lead. But at the end of the day, we were still in positions to win those games where we weren't able to do so. But last week we were able to, fight back and combat Nebraska with what they had. But that's kind of what our goal is, trying to show people who might not believe in us and the things that we're capable of, that we can do those things.
I mean, I know you're seemingly oblivious to it, but I have to say, and I touched on it a little bit before the show, I'm 36, and I've been a Michigan State fan since I was old enough to pay attention and watch TV. So I've been watching this program forever, 30 years where I was coherent. I think you're the best defensive freshman I've ever seen at the program. And I think you're at such I can't think of anybody at your level where, you were one of the best players in the country for underclassmen, regardless of position. I think it's interesting to see what you do next. And I'm not going to press you anymore on the transferring thing, but I think you do have an opportunity here, and maybe this is my pitch to you unintentionally, but you have an opportunity here to be a Michigan State legend if you stay. And I understand, you should do whatever's best for you more than the program. But does it weigh on you at all, like that are you cognizant at all of what you've done here in your freshman year? I mean, are you totally oblivious? Like you're rated one of the best players in the country among underclassmen. Does that resonate at all with you?
Well, I appreciate that first and foremost, but I see some of the stuff, but I don't. I feel I haven't done anything yet. I've made a couple tackles, a couple sacks. That's nothing more than what Cal has done or Brule has done, if not better. Things that I've learned, I've gotten from those two. Jacoby before his injury and even after his injury. Learning from those guys and Coach Hayes is what's really put me in the position to kind of receive all the acknowledgement I've been getting.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone that is paying attention, they would already know. But for those that haven't paid close attention, I mean, Jordan is at such a level where I have not seen that in my lifetime for a true freshman defensive player. Typically, you get those freshmen pop in more on the offensive side of the ball. It's an easier transition. But for a linebacker, true freshman to be at your level is so impressive and rare for any school, but especially Michigan State, we haven't seen a lot at that level. Speaking of Jacoby, how is Jacoby? I felt so bad for that. It was like the nicest guy. Him and Kenneth Walker, the two. No offense, we're like the two nice. You're up there. The two nicest guys to ever come through here. I felt so bad for him when he went down.
Oh yeah, I mean, I did too. Like he's like one of my big brothers. I know they're all my brothers, but he was like my big brother, and still is. We seeing him go down and try to fight through. We know we all wanted him to fight through, but at the end of the day, he has to do what's best for him and his injury. But yeah, it really sucked to see him go down. But he's kind of stepped into that role of being that captain that he still is. Although he might not walk out on the field with us, he's still finding ways to be of support to the players that are.
Is he? I mean, I think he can get a waiver. Has he indicated whether he wants to play anymore at Michigan State or at the college level in general?
We haven't talked too much about it, but that's a conversation you and him are going to have later on.
Oh, I'll be selling him hard. I loved his game. He was so fun last year. And he's a high impact guy, and he was put in some tough spots with the injuries. Snow and Henderson are down last year. I know you weren't here, but I mean, they were moving him all over the place, and he was going from like a pass rush role to more coverage, and they had him all over the place. Similar to you, where he's so versatile. I'm hoping he comes back as like a super duper senior. And what a shame what happened to him. I'll kind of wrap on this. probably, unless it depends where you go with it.
Okay.
But I have to ask about my man Darian Harris, because I always bring him up when I got a player in here. He's my pick for whenever Alan Howard wants to leave. I'm not like pushing him out. I want him to be AD one day, and then maybe even president of the university. I'm such a Darian guy. And I was told by a player up there this year, a current player, one of your teammates, that Darian was the best guy you could possibly have up there with the chaos going on. And he mentioned Harlan as well, but he said Darian has been such a good resource for the team and such a steady force and calming presence. Is that an accurate description? What's it like having that guy up there during this chaotic season?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he played here. He had a closer role with our team previous in the spring, but the role that he's in now, he's even more of a resource for us. He can relate to us. And, Alan Haller's doing a great job with, the kind of the hand he's been dealt. But, I think Darian also has the capabilities of doing a really good job. He's been a good resource to me while I've been here, always been somebody that I can consult with my time being here. I'm glad he's in the position that he's in.
So you got a lot of good people in your life, man. You're the only player on the team, maybe any team ever at Michigan State, where your parent is more famous than you, even though you're one of the best players on the team. Yeah. Mama Hall, I think you guys are going to be viewed as a package deal in this effort to retain you. And I know you're brushing it off, and I get it. You're smart. I would be changing the subject too. But if Mama Hall transfers with you, we kind of have to keep at least one of you. And I don't think she's going to leave us. But is there a way to retain Mama Hall even if you do leave Michigan State and break our hearts?
My mom are gonna go wherever I go, but right now we're both here. Right now we'll both be in Columbus on Saturday.
I'm gonna work on her then. I think I can get to you through her, because what is she gonna do with her shoe collection? Is Ryan Duke's gonna make her some like LSU shoes? I'm gonna cry thinking about it. We gotta keep both of you.
Yeah, I mean she'll be winning them the next 3 games. That's what we're focused on.
You said she's missed 1 game, right?
She's missed 2. She couldn't make it to Iowa or Minnesota, a little far out, but every home game she's been there, and most of the away games she's been there. So she's my number 1 fan for sure.
Has she been a source for you of comfort? In the chaos and the unexpected stuff. Like, what does she tell you?
Kind of just been like, I try not to, honestly, with anybody, the stuff that's been going on, I've tried not to acknowledge it too much, just try to focus on football. But, she's always expressed how, if I ever need to consult with her with anything, she's always there. She's always willing to give me those hugs when I need them. So that's kind of where our relationship is, and handling it that way.
I appreciate you, Jordan. I promised, as a condition of you coming here, that this would be one of my shortest shows ever, because you got a trip to Columbus tomorrow.
We do.
And you got a long drive. So I'm going to keep my word and get you the hell out of here. Drive safe. You had a long trip, and we'll get you back when you're not going to a big road game in 12 hours next time. But
sounds good. Yep.
You got a long trip, and I appreciate you being here. And, I've probably said it 4 times now, but so much joy watching you play football, man. You got such an enjoyable approach to the game, and your mentality and how versatile you are. You're just an absolute joy to watch as a Michigan State fan. And I know everyone is rooting for you to stay here, but at the same time, rooting for you as a person and the great guy that you are. And your mom is, like we said, so beloved in the fan base. So we do hope you stay, and we'll certainly be pitching you and twisting your arm, and your mom's as well. But continued success to you wherever you end up, and hopefully it's here. It's been a pleasure watching you play. It really has.
I appreciate that. I'm glad to be here, truly.
Jordan Hall, appreciate you. He's hopping on, is that a bus that you're going on tomorrow?
For a little bit, yeah. We're going to take that flight over there. But
okay,
yeah.
You're flying. Okay, yeah. So taking the flight to Columbus, and I had a good time there in 2015. Hopefully you guys can shock the world again. Safe trip to you guys, and good luck on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Jordan Hall, one of the best Michigan State defensive underclassmen in the history of the program, at least in my lifetime. Real pleasure to have him, and it was cool having him here in the offseason before he got rolling, and now that he's killing it on the field. Just a joy to watch. Ben, appreciate you. We know where we're at with the Urban Meyer thing. I'm going to keep pressing it. I'm going to get in Jordan's ear the second the camera cuts out, and I'm going to tell him all the wonders that Urban Meyer is going to bring to the program. and maybe that'll help him stay because nobody leaves Urban Meyer. You'd be on a short list of guys that have done that. Ben, love you. Eric at home, Boxers on the Couch, love you, man. We'll see you next time, Spiro Avenue Show.